Good evening, everyone. First of all, at this point, I'd like to open up the agenda for the Baldwin Park City Council regular meeting today, September the 3rd, 2014. The time is 7:25. I will also open up that concurrent with the Housing Authority. What's that? What's the time? 7:20? Oh, 7:18. All right, 7:18. Thank you, Madam City Clerk, for the correction. So at this point, council members have anything they wish to share or close on anyone's behalf? If not, I'm not certain if Pastor Jackson is present. If not, oh yeah, he is present. I'm going to have Pastor Jackson lead us in an invocation, followed by the flag salute. I will ask all those that are able to stand, please do so at this time. Good evening.
Father, we come before you in the name of the Lord, giving you praise and thanksgiving. We thank you, Lord, for your hand upon Baldwin Park, the city council, protecting our police department while they're out in the streets to serve and protect. Our school district, Lord, that you will give our teachers wisdom and knowledge and understanding and how to deal with our children, Lord, that they may grow and better themselves and go into college, Lord. Our businesses need your helping hand, that the business in Baldwin Park should prosper. We proclaim that. And we thank you for our neighbors, that they will unite themselves together in one to make the city a great city. And Father, we have turmoil around the world, Lord, and everything that happens there in the Middle East will affect us. So during this time, we're asking you for the mercy and the grace, Lord, that you will give us and touch your children that are over there, and give them protection and bring them back home safe and sound, that no more Americans' heads will be cut off. So we just thank you, Lord. In the name of the Lord we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. At this point, we'll face the flag. Put your right hand over your heart. Repeat after me. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, and good evening to everyone. Sorry that we are late from our study session. So at this point, council members wishing to close on anyone's behalf?
Mayor, I just want to make an announcement, not close, if that's okay. Just really quickly, we're still working on our street fair. It is coming September 25th on Thursday from 5 to 9. And the first 2 Thursdays of October, we've already had a lot of interest and a lot of people come forward with sponsorships. So I want to thank Waste Management once again. They came up and they gave us a really nice, sponsorship, as well as Royal Coaches and many, many others. And so we're still looking for other donations. So if anybody knows of any company that'd like to participate, please let us know. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Vice Mayor Ricardo.
Mayor, I'd just like to make an announcement that the city is looking at trying to get a Mount SAC satellite center here in Baldwin Park, and we're working on that process. But on the website, there's a survey that we need our residents to take and answer the survey, and it's about the services that Mount SAC provides, and if we'd be willing to bring them here, and how much support there would be to bring a Mount SAC center here. Baldwin Park has one of the highest unemployment rates in the county. We're like about 12%. Our surrounding cities are much lower than that. So we definitely need to have resources here available to the community to be able to have more access and training for jobs. So hopefully you could all get on the website and answer the survey. It's quick. It's like 10 pages. You just click the answers on there, and have your kids, parents, uncles, aunts, everybody fill them out, friends, and just send them in. Right? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Ricardo Pacheco. Anyone else? No. Okay. Not at this point, Madam City Clerk. We could take roll call.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to excuse our city treasurer, Mayor Contreras.
Thank you.
She will not be able to attend tonight. Okay, Councilmember Cruz Baca. Here. Councilmember Monica Garcia.
I'll move to excuse her.
Councilmember Susan Rubio.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricardo Pacheco.
Here.
Mayor Lozano.
Present. Thank you very much, Madam City Clerk. All righty. Okay, at this point, we have no one information to share. We don't have anything on the proclamation and presentation, but before we go on, just want to thank, I'm not certain if Rafael Gonzalez is the librarian. I was actually at the not grand opening, but the first day that library opened up was yesterday, and what a phenomenal job they've done. The county spent $1.9 million in renovating the actual library itself, so they did a fantastic job. There's a total of 44 computers that are there, both for adult and youth, and as well as about, I think it's 4 or 5 separate kind of small conference rooms that are available there. So if you have not had an opportunity to go by there, take a look at this library. It's improved, and it definitely is something else to be able to see and share, and of course, read, write, listen, and get going in that particular area. So thank you. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and open up the public communications to anyone wishing to speak. Please state your name. You have approximately 3 minutes. Good evening. And you come up to the mic, please. Thank you.
Hi,
Hi,
my
good
name
evening.
is Linda Buckley. I live in Baldwin Park, right here, just close to Breezy.
Uh-huh.
And we are having trouble with those mosquitoes, those, I forget, tiger mosquitoes?
Yes.
For 2 months now, I haven't been able to enjoy the backyard. We have a beautiful backyard. I have been up 5 times just walking out in the back. I had them so severely that they blistered. They get the size of a $50. The only thing that seems to relieve them is putting ice packs on your ankles or wherever the bite is. They form blisters inside. I have spent tons of medicine on creams and gels and you name it, trying to get rid of that itch. It takes your sleep away. It wakes you up. You don't dare scratch them because the blisters are formed in the center. I no sooner got rid of those, and it takes about a week actually for them to heal, and they scar. Then it was about a week or 2 later, I had just walked from the back door. We have a little storage in the backyard. I got bit instantly 5 more times, 3 on one leg, 2 on the other ankle. The same thing. They swell up. They get about so high. They form blisters. You can't sleep. And I have called code enforcement. I have called the health department. I have talked to the city of Baldwin Park. I have talked to San Gabriel Vector. Vector was nice enough. I was in tears. That's how bad these bites get. Nobody knows unless you've been bitten by them. I am frustrated because nobody wants to do anything. Everybody's pushing the buck onto somebody else. You can't go out in your nice backyard or sit. You can't have any relatives come over and sit. They bite 24/7. They're not just like night mosquitoes that come out at night. I talked to the city manager. I talked to the health department. They tell me the best thing is to go to council. Council or write a letter. Vector came out from San Gabriel, West Covina, just to do me a favor. They felt so bad. They set a trap. He came back and tested the trap. It's not our yard. He went through our yard. We have no standing water. We have a pond that circulates the water. That's all we have. And Vector came out yesterday, checked the trap. We had 70 eggs and 2 males in our backyard. He set another trap yesterday. He'll come back and check it next Tuesday. And other than that, his hands are tied. So what do? I mean, if nobody can help, what do I do? I was going to get Orkin to come out and spray, but they're not coming from our backyard. They're coming from somebody else. They can fly from a mile to half a mile. There's other houses that have to have them, but nobody's taken the initiative to check the houses, to check the water, to see who else has standing water. We're doing our job, but nobody else seems to be doing theirs. So what do you do? Tell me. You die finally of the virus? Because it is there. People have died. So what is it going to take? What do we do? You can't, it's summer, well, it's almost end now, but for 2 months you can't go out in your backyard. So what can you do? You're frustrated because I had numbers galore, from health department to code enforcement to city manager to a Baldwin Park, of everybody. And nobody, what do? El Monte sprayed, they went door to door checking their water, and they sprayed. Baldwin Park doesn't want to do anything, and we're loaded with them, and they're only going to get worse.
All right, thank you very much. At the end of the public communication, I'll make a comment. All righty? Thank you. Moving on with public communication.
John Rios, good evening. I got a problem right here on your number 4 item that you guys have for scheduling. I'm the gentleman that came and took pictures of that, your city yard over next to Barnes, where all those porta potties are there. I'm just wondering how, can I get a key so I can start putting stuff in there? Why are we letting nonprofit organizations go into the city and putting stuff in there? You know, I gave you guys a report so you guys can read them. You know, we'll come in maybe next meeting or something on that, but it's something that I don't think it's right. Last meeting, we went ahead and did the Royal Coast thing. Right away, Mr. Lozano, you said 10 years. Can go 10 years. Okay? It's that buddy system that you guys have. You know, I hope that some of you guys don't even try to run for city council next term. People are not happy. Starting with the churches, the community in my area. Last campaign that we had, everybody asked me, he says, how come nobody's running against the mayor? I would say 70% of the people that I have talked to, they're fed up with it. That buddy system needs to stop. I don't know, campaign money or whatever, it's not right. I think we need to go and do an investigation on this. This is getting worse, getting like Bell. We need to open our eyes up, you know. Catholic Church is very upset about it with the Royal Coast deal. Now they're going to get worse with this one, okay? I just want you guys to make up your mind and do the right thing. I've been in nonprofit organizations for years, you know. And the report that we have is just a half of it, okay? So you guys make up your mind, or else we're going to follow the trail. Okay? Paper trail leads to a lot of things. So you guys make up your mind, you know. Oh.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, move along with public communication.
Good evening. My name is Todd Palmquist. I'm the Executive Director of the San Gabriel Valley Consortium on Homelessness, and I bring greetings to the Council from my Board of Directors. If you're not familiar with the consortium, I've left an information pack with you, which includes a brochure that will give you some basic information, mission statements, strategic plans, goals, that kind of thing. Currently, the consortium is active in a number of projects that are going to directly or indirectly affect the city, and we're very interested in offering our services should you want further assistance or to meet about any of these as time goes on. The first being is that we are actively involved with the Council of Governments, their Technical Advisory Committee on Homelessness and Housing. Worked with them to put together the homeless service survey that was recently set out to all the communities, and are also working with them to assist them as they're setting priorities. Recently, the LA Homeless Services Authority, LAHSA, has selected the consortium to be its representative here in the San Gabriel Valley to plan and coordinate and implement with all the communities the 2015 homeless count. So we're looking forward to being able to work with Baldwin Park and your representatives in making certain that we get the most effective and accurate count that we can. And just a heads up, more than likely this is going to end up being an annual event. So beyond 2015, we're going to be looking at how we can set this up to sort of run on its own beyond that. HUD recently rolled out a mandate that all the continuums in the United States need to have in place by 2015 what they're calling a coordinated access system here. And what's that's resulted of here in the LA continuum is that there's 2 new programs that have been rolled out here as of January 1. First is supported and sponsored by United Way. It's called Coordinated Entry System, and it's for individuals. The second is a system called Homeless Services for Families and the Family Solution Centers that's come out through LASA. Both of them, the basic intent is to try to have a coordinated database for all the services or all the people that are being served, to coordinate services, to have a centralized way of being able to evaluate people and to be able to better match services with the people and their exact needs. Union Station in Pasadena has been selected by both those agencies to implement this in SPA 3, or the San Gabriel Valley Consortium is working with Union Station to do that. So that's another project that we're very actively involved in. And in the packet of information, again, I've left some information about both CES and the Family Solutions Center. I've also left you a little wallet card that gives you some basic information on how to access the Family Solution Centers and also the 3 access centers that are in the San Gabriel Valley. Finally, in the packet that I gave you is a proclamation that my board has adopted where they have proclaimed the 3rd week of November as the Homeless Services or Homeless Awareness Week. And I'd like to encourage...
Mayor, time's up.
I'm sorry. I'd like to encourage the board to adopt that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am going to have a couple of comments after, so you could just don't mind waiting. All right, thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Moving on with public communication.
Hello, everybody. It says here approved minutes from February the 5th, special meeting, regular meeting, May, June. You mean we go almost half a year or more without approving these meetings? If you people have voted money in or changed things, we don't know what you're changing here. And if you did change anything, well, too late now because you're going to approve them anyway. But you shouldn't have to wait from February to September to approve things. If you wait that long, you guys are in trouble. As far as you guys spending a lot of money here. We just hired a city manager, and more likely we're going to hire somebody else. We're spending a lot of money, but we need to be making a lot of money up on the wall. The economy is improving a little bit, and you guys are going to build homes for $500,000. Let me tell you. You people wanted it too. You got a lot of rich relatives, or you got a lot of rich people in Baldwin Park. But the way I looked at it about a month ago, we're hurting, and we haven't improved that much. As far as waste management, I know I was told to take it easy, but I'm going to say it anyway. Waste management doesn't deserve the raise they're going to get, because that's what's wrong with the city of LA. Every time they get in trouble with money, raise the taxes, raise the city taxes, raise the dump trashes. They raise everything they can find. You guys are doing the same thing. I thought we voted some people in here that would say, wait a minute, let's not raise taxes every time it seems like a good idea. You guys, you're going to penny death everybody around this city. I keep telling you, you need big businesses. And what are we going to do? We're going to build some homes that more likely for $500,000, I don't think they're going to sell that good. They may sell, but not that good. I mean, that's good. It improves in the city, makes the city look nicer. But that's a lot of money, guys, for a Baldwin Park resident. 75,000 people in Baldwin Park, and like I've told you many times, it doesn't seem to penetrate. A lot of people are on fixed incomes. So you guys have to decide. I know, like me, I don't want you to raise my taxes, not even a penny. I don't care if the state of California falls apart. I don't want you to raise my taxes. That seems like everybody that works in the city council, That's the thing they do. Raise taxes, raise this, raise that. Jiminy Crickets, what do we look like? Does it say Bank America or Bank Chase or anything? No, it doesn't say that. And you people act like it.
All right, okay, time's up. Thank you very much. Appreciate
You know?
that. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Ken Woods, I'm a longtime business owner. During the past 47 years, I feel I've given back to our community through our youth leagues and adult leagues. And so if you're going to give an individual the privilege of storing their personal property at our city yard, then I feel that I should have that same privilege. And I got a couple of things I need to store, and it'd be a great place, save me some money, which is what we're after. And if they get keys, I want a set of keys. But if this privilege is granted because of large political donations, then it looks like I'm SOL. Director Wall, I spoke to you a while back about that sinkhole in our alley. It's fixed. Thank you. I thank you, and my tires thank you.
Thomas Carey, former resident. This Baldwin Park Soccer League that you're going to give this contract or whatever to claims to be some type of nonprofit. Seems to me he's making a lot of profit. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes when the IRS comes calling, because they never let go, and they will get their money if they have to seize all his assets to do it. And that goes for anybody else that's taken campaign contributions or anything else. You could be opening yourselves up to an audit. They'll follow the money wherever it went. This thing with these houses, $500,000. You have to have 20% down. That's $100,000. Who's going to have $100,000 to put down on those houses up there? It's the thing back there says on one side it says Comview, the other one in the back says Maceline or something like that. I know Comview runs north and south, not east and west. According to the one over there on the wall with the colors on it, they have that as Comview. It's not Comview, though. At least they could proofread it before they put it up there. I was going to cover something else. But this thing with this youth soccer, still giving stuff away. You're giving away city storage, too. Why? A nonprofit. He should have his own place to store that stuff. Of course, if he's not a nonprofit and the IRS gets looking into it and he's collecting and having profits, they're going to hang him and anybody else that's mixed up in that. As for the minimum wage, if you think unemployment's high in Baldwin Park now, you raise that minimum wage to $13 and see what happens. See how quick the fast food places automate and find ways to cut jobs and or benefits. Or maybe they just stop having sit-down area inside altogether. Of course, if they want to build a drive-through, they're out of luck here in Baldwin Park because you have that moratorium here. But the other cities around here don't have that. So they're already working on ways to fix it with this minimum wage thing, which I think is ridiculous. Like I said before, those jobs are intended for high school people and people in college. They're not intended to make a career. You're not supposed to be raising a family working fast food. Keep the legs shut, keep the zipper up, and you won't have a family. You won't have to be demanding $15 an hour to flip burgers at a fast food place. I mean, it's ridiculous. Well, they get 15. What are they going to do, start working on 20? The unions don't care about these people. All they care about is membership. not going to have any membership.
All right, Thomas, thank you very
Because they
much.
ain't going to have a job to have it.
Appreciate
Okay,
that. Thank you. Okay, move on with public communication.
Margarita Vargas. My daughter was supposed to be here. She wanted to say something. She's a teacher at Margaret Heath. And the day of that tragedy that happened, a week, more a week, she was driving her kids to school. And so they saw, the whole thing. And she was really upset because she said, Mom, they don't have something like a partition to cover so the kids don't see anything. And I said, I don't know, but you should go ask. And she was supposed to come, but she's busy. So I just want to tell you that maybe the police department should invest in something, in partitions, or I hope that doesn't happen again. But if, any crime scene that they can cover it, not just putting that plastic on top because you can see everything, So, and it's really traumatic for the kids, when they got to school, they were all talking about it. And so I don't think there's a lot of money for those partitions, or maybe they could have brought the big truck they have for emergency. I don't know what they call the vehicle. That is like a van, big van. They could have parked it in front of it, instead of the patrol cars. They didn't cover anything. So, and the other thing is that the person they called, it was 5:45, and it was 8 o'clock, it still was there. So I don't know why it took so long. Maybe, I know that they had to investigate, but I think and they should be more prepared for things like that so the kids don't see that. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, move on with public communication.
Good afternoon. My name is Rosalinda, resident of Baldwin Park. My concern is the increased traffic in Stewart Avenue from Ramona to Arrow Highway. It's a very, very heavy traffic start at 5 o'clock in the morning, all kind of buses, trucks, and especially the speed is 30 the limit, but they are flying like in the freeway. And it's really increasing, so I just want to help the police department to prevent accidents, and don't wait until something happens to put lights or stop signs, or either, patrol more often, because I live right in between Olive and Arrow Highway. And I can hear, especially Thursdays and Fridays, when the speedway, races, they think they're coming from there. And they are really, I'm afraid for an accident. So we can prevent it, and we don't have to wait for something to happen to put a light or a stop signs. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right. Move along with public information.
Good evening, Greg Tuttle, business owner. Mayor, you made a statement last week or last council meeting that I'm an actor. Now, I might have got the one award, but you got an Oscar because you have done a great job of acting because you don't remember the truth, what you tell each time. Now, when my dad taught me a long time ago, when you tell the truth, you don't have to remember the lies that you told. The problem is you tell so many lies, you don't know which one's the truth. When we come up here and we state facts, and I'm going to just run down some of the facts that you call me a liar on. Your brother was arrested for drugs in Irwindale. Your close friend Sergio Corona was arrested, who you got off. You filed bankruptcy. You lied on the 1290 that you were going to take care of that. But it took the new council to do that, not you. You lied that you didn't like VJ. You didn't vote for him. But Mr. Pacheco had to remind you, you did vote for him. Then you lied about the budget for the police. You keep trying to skate around it, you and Monica. The facts are, you all tried to destroy this police department. And that's a true fact. These are all facts. This isn't acting. This is real life. And the problem is you don't know what real life is. You don't know what the real truth is. So you come up with, well, this gentleman is a great actor. He should get an Academy Award. Well, you need an Oscar, buddy, because I'll tell you what, you're a great actor, but the problem is you don't know how to tell the truth. And when you start telling the truth and you start keeping your promises, then maybe someday the citizens will believe you. But the citizens are getting fed up with your lies, just like you did with, we don't have any money, we're going to have to raise taxes to keep the police, or we have to go sheriff. Now, I'm sure that went out of your memory bank, but we all remember it. Every person that's in here. The people come here and they understand what you said. They remember what you said. You can lie all you want. The people that don't come to these meetings, that don't care, they can believe you. But the people sitting here, they all remember what you say. And you better start stepping up to the plate. And this playing the game with this saying of you're going to stick up for VJ and for Hatzel, and you're going to sit there and abstain on all this, you need to understand you work for the city and the citizens of Baldwin Park, and you better defend us through everything that goes on. And I don't think that's happening with your abstaining on all these votes, you and Monica, and playing all your games and not showing up at special meetings that I see that you don't go to. So you need to step up to the plate, Mayor, start telling the truth. And if you need an award, I will give you an Oscar, because you know what? You deserve it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, now with public communication, anyone wishing to speak? Okay, if not, I will now declare the public communication closed. I will address this individual who, again, and I'll get to it. First of all, let me just begin with I think the person with the vector. Now, just to let you know, the city of Baldwin Park, we're not part of the vector. What's a vector, the whole name? Vector control. The surrounding cities have been, and it is something that we are currently dealing with to address, to resolve, and we're going to involve the residents of Baldwin Park because it's something that has to be voted upon, because it does require funds to be able to kick that off, so it's going to involve the whole community. I know they have done several courtesy types of things for residents in Baldwin Park, so we're doing our best, and at this point, I'm going to have do you have something to share over that real quick?
Yeah, I can let the public know that the city councils met, had a study session with Vector Control at least twice. Vector Control has outlined how this tiger mosquito is sort of spread through El Monte in that area and has found its way here in a couple places. They've been fighting it there in El Monte for about 3 years. They still haven't been able to stop the spread. It would most likely take a vote of the property owners in Baldwin Park to be approved into the Vector Control District, which means each property owner would have to pay $11 per year on their property taxes. So we're looking at that process, and we're looking at our options, and I'm not sure if I mentioned the cost to conduct that election is $80,000, so the city wants to make sure if we move down that path that the residents are in favor of that type of thing before we spend that money on an election.
All right, so thank you. So, and we'll be following through on that and also probably sharing that in the now so that residents in general know throughout the city. But thank you for bringing that up. Also about the Ramona and Stewart, the speeding, I hear you. As a resident of Baldwin Park, I'll come down to it. It's the amount of traffic that has built in that particular area, especially coming off of Arrow Highway. It's a shortcut to come right across Ramona. And we're probably going to have more so now because of the fact that the freeway itself, the new construction along West Covina, has kind of bottlenecked. So now you're also having Ramona, right off the 65 Ramona, heading eastward, just congested. So it is an issue. If we could, Captain, we could refer the PD to have either motorcycle patrol or place those speed apparatus that we have available so we could address it. And we could get our numbers so we could follow up as to what we're actually going to be doing. So thank you for bringing that up. I want to also talk about the consortium for the homeless. I think this is great, and I'm glad you brought this up. Now, I have one question. Are you seeking also funds from the Community Development Block Grant in the future? Or will you, I should say?
Unlike the Homeless and Housing Coordinating Council that did come to each community and ask for funding, we've not done that, and we won't. We're looking for sustainability outside of that.
Okay, all righty. I
If
think
the
this-
city would like to, we'd be
Oh, yeah,
glad
no.
to. But,
And
you know,
again,
I'm not-
definitely like to visit and get more further information on certain, because I think it's an opportunity for us. We have a lot of homeless in Baldwin Park, just like other communities, and a good portion of them. We do have one that we do fund through the Community Block Grant. Some manage to go through the process and then they're back out in the street. And of course, those are long-term things that we need to deal with. And the unfortunate part, a good portion of them are veterans, so we need to address that. But I want to see if I get an appointment with you to kind of meet up with you about
We'd
this.
love to come and talk with you or anyone of the staff.
Maybe like a study session for us all, and then look forward and placing this as a proclamation, because I think it's important for us to agendize this, and we'll have you
Appreciate
here to present them, because this is big, not only in Ballpark, but throughout the state of California as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Yes,
all.
Council, one moment. I think the Councilmember Susan.
Oh, I
Rubio.
just want to say, because you want to agendize it, well, we're not in a council request, but you can make it as a request, so it's not agendized, but we bring it back and
Yes.
make it a proclamation, and we don't have to wait.
Wonderful.
you.
And if you need help writing it or rewriting, whatever it is, give us a yell.
Thank you. Now, Councilmember Cruz Baca.
Oh, sorry.
And thank you very much. This is something, as the mayor and also Councilmember Rubio said, this is very much needed in Baldwin Park. I don't know if you've seen, or if there's some assistance for the people that are right there under the bridge there by the 605 freeway
Yeah.
going on to Ramona. I think that's part El Monte, but it doesn't matter. They're our neighbors. And I do think there's a lot of places like that where they're like little villages that they've built. Unfortunately, like it was mentioned before, a lot are veterans, and I would really like to see this, see how we can work together.
Love to. Love
All
to.
righty.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And want to also lastly address the part where Margarita Vargas came up here and talked about the incident that occurred, and we know that about last week. So, Cam, if we could, in the future, I mean, the officers did a great job, of course, but everything happened so quick. And, of course, you have to maintain the site for investigation, the coroner's office, and what have you. So there's a multitude of things that are involved, but maybe invest in some kind of canopy or something that we could put around. And again, as she mentioned, hopefully that doesn't occur in the future. Let me also address the last thing that the gentleman came up here, whose name I won't mention, who, number one, is not a resident of the city of Baldwin Park. The Constitution of this great country allows anyone here, any resident here, to come up here and accuse anyone here of anything. You could make it up, and the Constitution literally protects you. Now, I'll say this individual is very interesting. He's always attacked me. He's attacked a lot of individuals up here, and it's more like a personal type of issue for him. And you know what? I have to respect him. But at the same time, have to clarify that he is an outright congenital liar. He'll come up here and invent things, but he won't tell you anything other than that, because that's the way he's built and that's the way he's designed. He's designed to come up here and just create different type of stories. Let me make it very clear. Everyone knows, and it's on the record, you can go back in the archives. Yes, I come from a family of 7. When I got elected, I made it very clear publicly that I have a big family. They live in Ballpark. Some of them live in the neighboring cities as well. That if they ever got arrested, that they would serve the consequences. And yes, that brother of mine has been arrested approximately 4 times. And I have shared that at every city council meeting. Now, I love my brother. He's a family member, of course. But I cannot control his behavior. And he got arrested by, guess what? The #1 police department in San Gabriel Valley, the Ballpark Police Department. So he's seen the jail here. And he's been here. And that's fine. He's turned his life around. But again, that happens. So for this person to come up here, again, fabricating information, that's his specialty. And there's nothing I could do about that. Now, when he talks about the economy, talks about the decisions, the tough decisions that I had to make as mayor because of the economy and because of the recessions, we ended up with $6 million. But he's not going to tell you that part. Now, certainly, were there issues with the law enforcement that I wanted to take on in a different perspective that never went to the voters? Because we never got to that particular point. And yes, we did look at the potentiality of the savings. You have to make tough decisions. Now, one thing that was made very clear when I got elected, number one, I knew was not going to get elected to be popular nor to be liked, because this is not the place where you're going to be popular or liked, because you're going to make very tough decisions for the general public. Now, he, as a non-resident, has a right to come up here, just like any one of you could go even to the city where he lives in there and talk about things. And then that's the reality. But the thing is that Baldwin Park has improved, and it's based upon those tough decisions that were made in the past couple of years. And it's important for every one of us to instill and to be able to know. And I just want to clarify that to everyone here, because, and you mentioned also something about Sergio Corona. Yes, he also made a bad decision. There's nothing I can do about that. It's the reality of life. Certainly you could blame it on me. That's fine, whatever you want to do. But we're going to continue going. My priority has been and will always be the city of Baldwin Park, the residents first. I'm not going to get into the old Rona Barrett type of gossip. It's business first, and it's tough decisions. And again, there are 75,000 residents in the city of Baldwin Park. And a portion of you that are here may be very little, because not everyone gets involved in the political aspect of the city of Baldwin Park. I live here in Baldwin Park and have been a resident since 1979, just like Vice Mayor Ricardo Pacheco, Councilmember Cruz Baca, Councilmember Susan Rubio, and Councilmember Monica Garcia. We're proud. I live here, and this is where I'm going to retire. I have no plans of moving anywhere else because I love this community. And I have been a part of it and will continue to be as long as the residents allow me or give me that particular vote. So I just want to make it very clear to you, everyone here, it's unfortunate the person chooses to come up here and feed you this type of information. But you need to know the truth. And one thing, let me just conclude, the truth will set you free, my friend, and hopefully you take that to heart. Thank you. All right.
Mayor,
So,
can
yes.
I just make one more comment? And this is going back to the homelessness, and I'm sure that they can resolve this, but this mainly for our chief and captain. There's, my husband's an avid bike rider, and like 2 days in a row, he's been on the trails, on the wash, and there's so much homelessness there. And 2 days in a row, he witnessed a semi-attack on a woman, but, at that point, you don't know what's going on. And he was wondering, like, how can we find out the jurisdictions, underneath the path? If you can just kind of do a little research on that, and does anybody go out there and take care of? I know it's not part of the city, but yet it's part of our community. So can you get some information on that for me? Thank you.
All right, thank you. And that's a good one, Susan Rubio. Some important that also has to be addressed. So look forward to getting together with you as well. So I want to thank you very much. Before we go on, I just need to, legal counsel reminded me, you have to read the announcement, which reads, this is the announced as required by Government Code Section 54954.3. Members of the City Council are also members of the Board of Directors of the Housing Authority and Finance Authority, which are concurrently convening with the City Council this evening, and each council member is paid an additional stipend of $30 for attending the Housing Authority meeting and $50 for attending the Finance Authority meeting. So that is for the record. We're required by state law to read that. So at this point, we're going to go ahead into consent calendar, which we have items 1 through 4, and I'll go ahead and pull item number 4.
I'll second.
All righty.
I'll pull number 2, please.
All right, number 2. All right, so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and request a motion for items 1 and 3.
Make a motion for item 1 and 3.
Okay, was
second.
second. Excuse me. I made the motion, seconded by Vice Mayor Ricardo Pacheco. Any objections? See none, so move. At this point, item number 2, which is the approval of minutes received and filed by Councilmember Susan Rubio.
Thank you, Mayor. I was going to pull this item. There are a couple of minutes, and it does take a little while to go through these, and so I wanted to just pull it and see if we can bring it back, because I wanted to go over them. But to answer Mr. Rios' question, please know that it is important for us to do it as soon as possible, and we are looking into hiring someone. We have flown the position for a couple weeks. Unfortunately, we don't have a qualified candidate yet, but we're working towards it. And the good news is, and I know you talked about possibly changing things, these meetings are on audio, so at any given time, anybody can go verify the information on these minutes. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much.
So I guess my motion is for us to
Yes.
bring it back so we have a little bit more time to review them.
Yes, and real quick, and I'll second, however, Councilmember Cruz Baca reminded that it was Mr. Luna who made the actual.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right.
Mr. Luna.
All right.
You guys hang out together all the time that I get you guys confused. I'm so sorry.
All right, thank you very much. All right.
For
so-
clarification, we're bringing that back, correct? Thank you.
Yes, we are.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. All right, so at this point, we'll go over to the proposed agreement with the Ballpark Youth Soccer League. Staff recommends that the city council approve the agreement with the Baldwin Park Soccer League. Now, just real quick, want to make reference, certain negative things were brought up about this. I mean, we literally have hundreds of youth that have benefited by this particular organization. And I personally think it's important for us to be able to continue that same practice with an organization that has not only been an example for some of the things that we do in Ballpark, but it's space that's not utilized by the city, and basically you're parking these porta potties in there and then taking them out. All the city is doing at this point is making certain that we have an actual contractual agreement, propose a contractual agreement with the organization and the soccer league. And again, it's an investment for our cities. The Ballpark Unified School District, they provide their fields, and at this particular point, I think it's important for us to be able to also work with them indirectly for this. So,
Mayor.
and sorry about that. And real quick, and I end here. And just to let everyone know that this has been the practice of them parking the actual porta potties in that particular parcel for the past 8 years. Yes,
Yes,
Councilman
Mayor.
Cruz Baca.
I would like to pull it for the October council meeting. There are some questions that I have
Okay.
in regards to the agreement. I would like to see a few changes in the agreement itself.
Okay.
To make some of the, specify some of the number of porta pot. We'll discuss it.
Okay,
I would
what-
like to
is that
take
a
it
motion?
further. I make a motion
Okay,
that I would like to
there's-
take it to the October meeting.
All right, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second
Yes.
it. So you'll bring it back
So-
later? You want to talk
Yeah,
more
October.
to staff on it? Okay.
Okay, so second by Vice Mayor Ricardo Pacheco.
Mayor,
Yes,
I
go
also
ahead.
wanted just to add that those that are not familiar with the Baldwin Park Soccer League, it's an outstanding program that has been in service in our community for a long number of years. They provide, if you drive around the city, they have soccer games played throughout different schools in our city. And they always have great events. They bring a lot of families together, a lot of youth and families that come together. If you go and watch the games, they're very exciting to see, and they provide a very good service to our community. And a few years ago, they needed an area to store some porta potties, and they approached me, asked me about it, and we were able to find a place for them to put these porta potties that they had needed a location for. They are a nonprofit organization that serves all the residents in our community, especially our youth. I know there were some comments made that, well, why can't I park my personal RV on property or whatever it is? But we allow nonprofits that have a need to come to us, and we provide them with a resource like, in this case, where to put your porta potties. We have a lot of other nonprofits that we help out with office space, with different types of needs to serve the community. And because they're nonprofits, we're able to work with them in that aspect. So, and they also even provided us their IRS forms. I believe they put this to all the council members so we could see their revenues and expenses there, because I guess people had questions about that. But anyways, some of the members are here. If you want to talk to them, they're represented here to discuss any issues I think that anybody have questions with. So hopefully we could kind of just have the community come to a medium, happy medium about this group and who they are and the services that they provide to our community. But I'm very supportive of this organization. I think they do a great service in our community. They do not provide any political contributions to anybody. They never gave one to me or anybody else. So I just want to make sure that, or that I know, just want to make sure that we get these issues resolved. I know the councilwoman has some concerns, and you'll bring that forward with staff and bring this back.
Oh, thank you.
in
But I
October.
do want to
Thank
thank
you.
Gonzalo and Rita and the staff. I have met many of them and been, of course, to the opening. It is a wonderful organization. Lots of people get involved, and right now, since everyone's trying to get healthy, it's a good way to exercise, not only for the kids, but for the adults. Thank you very much. It is a wonderful service to our community. Thank you.
Yeah,
Mayor-
And Mayor,
oh, yes.
Sorry.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to comment too, and I'm not going to speak to the issues of the porta potties, but it does make me sad because when I heard some of the comments, it goes into these really serious allegations, tax evasion, and this is a really good family, and I think we need to be just mindful of what we're saying. And once again, we all know them. They've been members of the community for many, many years, and they're good people. They work hard, and they really do a lot for our children. But again, this is not about the issue about the porta potties, but I think we need to be mindful of some serious allegations that are stated in public, and that's really not the case. So I just wanted to make that statement.
Yeah, and I just want to, I'm glad you brought that up because it's unfortunate. As everyone knows, you go on the website or these particular, I'm not even going to mention some of these websites that I don't even go on, and you could go on there and make up stories about anyone, okay, or that I said, he said, she said, whatever. And this is a democratic society, but at the same time, there's a potential cost of having someone come up to you thinking that this is what you said and turns into a potential brawl or a potential injury to someone. But that's just the reality. Besides this particular person coming up here doing what he does, then again, this is what people do on the social media, and this is the 21st century, which is totally different. But that's the price we pay. But let me just clarify this so that everyone is very clear. The actual agreement is an I can't pronounce the word, indemnifying the city of Baldwin Park. So if there's any potential liability or potential damage or something, then they're responsible at the end of the day, not the city. So that's the agreement, just to let everyone know. We, for the past 8 years, have not had any type of agreement. This holds them, the particular organization, accountable. So just so that everyone clearly understands what the actual agreement is about. And it will be brought back in October. And Gonzalo, Rita, and all the Jesus that are here, want to thank you. And it's wrong when people come up here and say things, but again, we're kind of like in the same area, ¿verdad? That's just the reality of what happens when you're a public official or when you're out there and you're with a lot of youth and making things happen. Want to thank you, and this community thanks you, because there's literally hundreds, if not I'll say thousands of actual youth that have gone from age of 6, 7, whatever, all the way up to adulthoods that have been a part of the soccer league. And soccer is very popular worldwide, as we know, but throughout the region, throughout the county, and throughout the country. So it's important. Thank you very much for that. All righty.
Mayor, again,
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify, and I'm getting into the habit of doing this. For item number 4, Ms. Baca proposed, she motioned to bring it back in October, and it was seconded by Pacheco.
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. So that will come back in October. All right. Next item that we have is the public hearing. The public hearing, a proposed increase in solid waste fees. So at this point, who is handling? Are you?
That would be Public Works Director, Mr. Daniel Wall.
Mr. Daniel, thank you.
Mayor, City Council members, what you have before you are 2 proposed changes to fees that will, that for your consideration. The first of the proposed fees will impact commercial, industrial, and multifamily residential properties with 5 or more units, and this is mandatory recycling. Under AB 341, the city is required to implement a recycling program. These fees are being charged to implement that program. The second set of fees that you have are a contractual obligation that the city has to increase fees in accordance with the Consumer Price Index for garbage and trash collection as part of our agreement with Waste Management. These fees, this fee increase will affect all customers, residential and commercial, multifamily, and industrial, and will take effect on July 1 of 2015 and will be adjusted each year annually for 5 years after that, with a cap of 5%. So in no year will there be a greater than 5% increase in fees. At this point, to be in compliance with Proposition 218, you are to open a public hearing.
Alrighty.
And also I have received no written protest. This hearing was noticed. There were instructions for written protest. I have received 3 letters in favor of the commercial recycling fee adjustment, though.
Oh, you have received 1 letter.
I have received 3 in favor, no opposition to the fees.
All righty. Okay. So at this point, I will open up the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of the public hearing proposed increase in solid waste fees. So anyone at this point wishing to speak in favor, I'll take all those that want to speak in favor. See none. At this point, oppose? Anyone that's wanting to speak opposing the actual public hearing proposed increases in solid waste? Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I think we Americans are probably going to someday get tired of taxes, but it seems like people want to write these constitutions up for cities, always leave a little hole so you people can get into and say, well, we need to raise this, we need to raise that. This is what we're doing now. We're finding this little loophole in something that's probably been on the books for 50,000 years, and you people need to raise more money. So that's what you're going to do right now. I know that we out here keep telling you, don't raise this, you do it anyway. Do you know what you do? You go look at a book somebody wrote 15, 20, 30 years ago. That leaves you a loophole. That's what you're doing right now. Something that happened, we already pay for recycle, green, and trash. Now you're going to raise it because we have those three. Pretty soon, somebody else will say, well, let's have another thing. Collect oil and we'll charge everybody extra. We have recycle places now. They tell me, you can bring me the oil, but you got to take the container back. What do? I throw it in the trash. It ends up in the ground. The residue that's in there ends in the ground. You guys didn't accomplish nothing. The only thing you did is making somebody get wealthy off the crude oil that we give back to you guys. And that's what you're doing right now with the waste management part. You people up there were voted in no matter what. No matter if I stood here another 50,000 years, you're going to vote it in anyway. You know why? Because you don't care what we say out here. You really don't. Not only this city council, every city council across the United States has the same problem. Look back in the old books, find a hole in it, and that's where we'll go. We've been saying, ever since I've been coming to these meetings, let's find somewhere to get revenue. You figure, go to the resident. He don't care. All he can do is argue with us, tell us no, and we're going to do it anyway. Because that's what you're doing to all of us. Everybody that sits here will remember someday he found a loophole, and that's what you're doing right now. You're digging it up so you can raise it without anybody complaining. And that's sad to hear that you have to do that. It really is. You know why? You have all these empty buildings in the city of Baldwin Park, but you can't fill them. None of you people have here. You brought in a few businesses, a few corporations, and that's it. But you have more empty buildings than you have buildings occupied. So under that, you go ahead and raise it. I'll be here 150 years arguing this, but it won't do me any good. Because you people will find a loophole. You all find a loophole. Mr. Luna's wrong. We'll find
I'm sorry,
it.
time's up.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
So we're going to raise the trash fees. Well, that shouldn't come as a surprise. That $1 million got to be paid back somehow that the city got, was it a year ago or so? I don't remember. Just like other long-term contracts that you have with other places, Royal Coaches and the like. That's why there should be open bidding for a lot of these things and be long enough that you don't pick the cheapest one, but you don't pick the highest priced one, though, either. But you're going to raise the fees anyway, like he says, no matter. You're going to do it anyway, so like you can argue with it. And that's the same with anything. Once they make up their mind they're going to do it, they're going to do it anyway. They don't care. But these people are the ones who are going to have to pay it. Just like they're paying for a street sweeper. Are they getting the service yet? San Bernardino's bankrupt over there, but at least we have a street sweeper that comes every other week. So if you would stop fighting cases you know you're going to lose in court and not ever have those cases to begin with, you wouldn't be paying out all that extra money in litigation costs. These people behind me are the ones that are going to pay those costs. Sure, you got to raise the taxes. You got to cover all the litigation. Litigation that should never have been. If there's information you're supposed to give it, give it. What does it matter? You give it in printed form, email it, flash drive, whatever you have to do, but avoid the litigation costs. Because that's causing these people to have to pay more taxes for everything else. That money be better spent on other things. I know it's a little off subject. I know that's what I was going to talk about before, and I couldn't remember. I know. I'm a little more relaxed this time than I was the first time when I was up here. I guess I made a mistake. I moved to San Bernardino. It's too hot over there. I got to get a foreclosure list and try and get back over here. Maybe I can run for one of your seats, and that way I can see what it is that's going on behind the scenes that I can't see from over here. Of course, confidential things will remain confidential. I'm not stupid to broadcast anything that shouldn't be talked about openly. But, okay. But this thing with the fees, that $1 million is going to come at a high price. I know things go up because of cost of maintenance and fuel and things like that, but where does it stop? Social Security, they give you, what, $20 more a year? But everything goes up $100. So how's a person on fixed income going to deal with these kinds of fees? The seniors get a discount, but what about the people that are on disability that are collecting Social Security and things like that?
I'm sorry, time's up.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, moving along with public communication. All right, good evening.
In Woods, businessman. Well, after 19 years of having the same trash rate, all of a sudden my trash rate went up 400%. I was paying around $350 a year. I now have a special rate where I'm paying around $1,300 for half the service, because my dumpster was cut from a 3-yard dumpster down to a 1.5-yard dumpster. And I know I was a special case because I was told that the reason they raised my rates is because I was not in compliance with state law. Yeah, I didn't collect the garbage. I put it in the dumpster. So what they did with it, that was part of the state law. But I didn't know that my putting stuff in my dumpster was going to be not in compliance with state law. So now my trash rate, instead of being my lowest utility bill, is now my highest. And now it's going to be a little higher. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, at this point, we're continuing on with, yeah, come on up.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
I work at a business here, and with the trash service, I'm kind of confused because I'm just wondering why we can't open to competition. You have Athens and Waste Management. And this other property I work close by, same type of business, they're out in Temple City, and they use Athens, which is same bin size, which is 4 yards, and they're actually like 30 to 40% cheaper. And I know Athens' location, their facilities is in City of Industry, so the drive from there to Temple City is actually farther. And Waste Management, which is the same bin basically, and the amount of, it's 3 days a week to come pick the trash up is actually about 30 or 40% higher. So I don't know what's going on basically. Maybe their trucks look better, more detailed or something, but it just doesn't make sense. I'm just wondering why we can't open to competition, and then from there it dictates the price and stuff. So hopefully we can in the future. I mean, so can you answer that, or is there?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and answer once we close up the public hearing.
Okay, all right then.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Greg Tuttle, business owner. Maybe I can ask a quick question so I know if I'm talking on the wrong subject. Is this concerning commercial also with recycling?
Yes, it is. That is correct.
Okay. Here's my point. If you're going to ask the businesses to recycle and they're going to have to pay for a dumpster, I ain't paying. I'm going to give all the people that ride bikes around and they collect cardboard, I'm going to give it to them. Because you know why? The trash company makes the money. What the city hasn't told everybody is the city gets a rebate on their trash, on what's collected. Yes, it's a hidden secret, but it does happen. The trash that's collected, you can call me a liar or whatever, but I got the facts and the proof. The city gets over $1 million, or close to, from Waste Management for their waste that's been hauled away for the year. So they need to start helping out the seniors, and they need to start helping out the nonprofit that you're so concerned about, that they take care of them also. But the businesses are not going to pay for an extra dumpster and an extra round for a truck to come around. So the quantity, from what I talked to Ms. Muse about, is if you're under a certain quantity, you can do your own recycling. I'm not giving it to the city, and I'm not giving it to anybody else but the people that need it and come around and ask for the cardboard and all the recyclables. This is ridiculous. Now, you people need to start figuring out, when you sit here and you think I'm going to pay to sort out recyclables and pay for a dumpster, you guys are sadly mistaken. And you council people need to start getting a grip, because you don't have a grip here. You don't understand the business side at all. Not one of you, other than Ms. Baca, is a business person. And it's sad to see that we have people that are uneducated, bankrupt before, and they don't know how to run a city because they don't understand business. And I'm excluding the city manager. I think that he's been doing very well so far, and I've heard a lot of good comments on him. But I'm going to tell you something right now. You guys need to rethink this recycling thing. And I never got anything to send a letter in to the city to protest the commercial deal. So I don't know how that got done. But I'm saying it wasn't done with my business. So we need to get a grip here, find out that the businesses aren't going to pay for recycling. And the businesses need compensation. If you want to do a container and you want to do it for free like Waste Management should, just like any other city, like Pomona where I live, so you can say that I'm a resident of Pomona, that's fine. But I don't pay for a container, and I'm doing the work. I'm recycling it. I'll give it to these guys that come around. I'll give it to the needy, because
sorry,
you guys seem
time's
to... Okay, goodbye.
I'm moving along with the, anyone else wishing to speak on a public meeting? Okay, if not, I will now go ahead and declare the public hearing closed. I'm going to have, what's that? Okay, no, we did that already. So at this point, I will now close the public hearing. Go ahead, Shannon. You want...
Yeah, I'll try to answer a couple of questions that were raised regarding why can't the city open this up to competition. Right now, and the reason the city is asking and mandating the requirements for recycling are basically based on state law. The state of California is requiring cities to have these programs to encourage recycling to divert waste that's going to landfills. The state also requires that the cities divert at least 50% of their trash from the landfills and recycle it. So really the only way that the cities can comply with these state laws are to franchise with a single trash hauler. Otherwise, if the city had multiple trash haulers coming in, they would not be able to account for the recycling, they would not be able to report to the state, and they would not be able to show their compliance with these state guidelines. And furthermore, that's why the city enters into a franchise agreement, because those agreements do spell out with the trash hauler how they will assist the city in complying with these state requirements. I did want to also point out, as mentioned in Dan's staff report, that this recycling does open up the possibility for people actually to reduce their trash bills, because if you can reduce the size of your trash bin because of the waste now going into recycle bins, you could then reduce your costs. And then, Mr. Wall, if you had anything else to add.
I have a question. I'm sorry, Dan. I don't mean to interrupt. I'm confused here, and maybe you can clarify it for me. We are asking our businesses to pay for a bin so that they can recycle? Is that what some of these comments are about? Because as a resident, of course, we don't pay for those bins. We only pay for the trash. And I know that in other cities, the trash company that picks up, and it's not Waste Management, they do all the recycling themselves at one of the MRFs or the recycling places. So there was a comment that was made. I believe it was Mr. Tuttle, anyway, there was a comment that was made that they are going to be charged for the bin for the recyclables. Is that true for the commercial side?
If I could answer that. So what is going on with the commercial is that there will be a blended rate. It is a flat rate. It is higher than the current rate, and it is to account for the reason for the increase in rate is so that there is a recycle bin that's going to be there. Currently, individual individual households are paying a blended rate. So it includes your trash and your recyclables and your green waste. So while your trash bill appears to just be for trash, it's as a homeowner, it's also including those other services, green waste and recyclable. Business owners are being moved into a similar thing where it's going to be trash and recycling with the one blended rate fee.
Do they have a choice to not go recycle? If their choice is if the recycled materials are sold, then they can sell them. We're not forcing them to take waste material with a recyclable value and put it into a recycling container. They have the option to get rid of that recycled material any way they choose. So usually it's with treating it as a commodity and having a recycling firm come in and buy it from them. But their rate will still go up anyway?
They will still be part of this blended rate.
Thank you.
Let me ask a question. This only goes out to property owners, am I correct?
This was sent to all account holders, I believe. If Terry, yes, this went to all account holders.
So all right. So if you're leasing, renting, you're going to also.
If you pay a trash bill, it was mailed to your trash bill address.
Okay. All righty, for clarification. All right. Anyone else have any other questions?
Excuse me.
Yes, go ahead. That's fine.
I'm going to sort of chime in. We have 7 properties in our trust. Mm-hmm. We only got one notice on one of the bills, and they're all billed separately. So I don't know. I'm not trying to dispute it, but I'm just letting you know personally that I only got one notice. That's why I knew about it in the primary residence where I live.
Okay. Do all of your trash bills go to the same address?
Yes, and they're all the same name.
So you received the notice. That's why you received one notice, rather than receiving 7 notices to the same account holder at the same address. They were all these notices were mailed to the billing address. When you receive the bill, do you receive it at one address for the 7 different?
No.
Oh, okay. That's what I was asking.
We get it at separate addresses.
Okay.
Corresponding addresses. Yeah.
I don't know why.
That's all right. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So at this point, council members have any further questions? If not,
Mayor,
yes, Vice Mayor Ricardo
just clarification from Public Works Director. So now we're changing to a blended rate for both residential and commercial?
Currently, residential is at a blended rate. And so residential will not see any change in their rate structure. What happens to residential, there's 2 parts to this. So there's a blended rate for commercial that's on this. And then there's also an annual rate adjustment that this hearing is for. This annual rate adjustment affects everybody. It goes up by the Consumer Price Index for trash. And it takes effect July 1st, 2015, and every July 1st thereafter for 5 years. But other than that cost of living increase, if you will, there is no change to residential rates.
How much is the cost of living increase? 3%? Is that what?
I can't tell you. It hasn't been.
Oh, because it's going to be up in the
because
future.
it's in the future.
Okay.
But it will be capped at in no case will it be more than 5% per year. That's the maximum that it can go to.
But Dan, in past years, as I recall, it's been around
1.2,
1.5.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and then for the commercial, since we combined it as a blended rate, and I guess before, what did they pay, just for one trash unit? Or?
No, some of our commercial, some of the commercial customers in Baldwin Park are paying separately for recycling, for a recycling container, and they're paying separately for a trash container. And so they are actually paying a fairly high rate, which is higher than what this blended rate would be for those customers. For people who currently are not recycling and only are dumping everything into the trash, they will see an increase in their rates if they do not downsize their regular trash bin. And that is because they will be provided with a recycling bin as well. So there will be two bins. If they reduce their trash bin size, they will see a reduction in their rates.
Okay, so let me get this straight. If I'm a commercial owner and I have 2 trash bins, but now with the new increase, I'm going to have a blended rate that will be lower than if I had the 2.
So if you're a commercial owner and you have a say a 3-yard recycling container and a 3-yard trash container, under the blended rates you'll see a decrease in your rates from what you're currently paying. If you are a commercial owner and you have a 10-yard you have a 10-yard dumpster, and under the blended rates, if you continue with that 10-yard dumpster, you will see an increase in your rates. If you are able to recycle and reduce the size of that 10-yard dumpster to, say, a 5-yard dumpster, and in addition to having a 5-yard recycling bin, you will see a reduction in your rates from what your current 10-yard rates are.
Okay, if I may, go ahead, I'm sorry, continue.
Where you see the increase is if you do not downsize your trash container. Okay.
If I'm a residential owner and I want to decrease my monthly bill, I would then decrease some of my, because I have 3 containers, so I would decrease some of them to bring the cost down?
No, as a normal residential containers are at you're paying a flat rate. There's no optional decrease in trash container size. And this blended rate, you're already paying a blended rate. So that's, there is a smaller container that's being offered to seniors to provide seniors with a discount.
Okay. Let me ask the rep, Terry Muse, if you could can we bring her up here to ask her a couple questions?
Sure. Terry, do you mind coming up here, please? The lectern.
I don't know. I saw you raise your hand, so I thought you might have some input.
Currently, residential customers do have the opportunity to decrease their trash bill because there is 3 sizes. It's called pay-as-you-throw. There's a 35-gallon, a 64-gallon, and a 96-gallon trash container. So similar to what is being proposed for the commercial customers, residential customers right now, if they recycle more and they have 2 free and blended into their rate, they have 2 recycle carts. If they recycle more, they can decrease their trash container and decrease their bill.
Okay.
Similar, that same thing that's proposed for commercial customers. So as Mr. Wall pointed out, if somebody chooses not to recycle, then they would see an increase in their bill. If somebody chooses to recycle, they will see a decrease in their bill. So this program basically incentivizes people to recycle. Because currently right now, the commercial recycling rate hovers between 2% and 3%. It's very low. Mm-hmm. And that, of course, needs to increase. The state's mandating at least 50% recycling. So this program is actually offering commercial customers a chance to control their trash bill more by recycling more and reducing their trash bin. And we are going to be doing a targeted outreach that I know Councilmember Rubo talked about last council meeting. It's not going to be just thrown at the commercial customers and said, here it is, take it. We're not going to try and, no choice in this matter. There's going to be, every single business will get a visit from a recycling person to assess their current trash, see how much of it is recyclable, make a recommendation as to how they can reduce their trash bin. They will, each commercial account will have at this new rate any size recycle bin from a 96-gallon cart all up to a 6-yard bin up to twice a week at no additional charge. So that can provide a lot of opportunity for them to recycle. And we know a lot of businesses have a lot of recyclables that they're not putting in there because they don't want to pay separately. So like Mr. Tuttle said, they don't want to pay for recycling. That's why they're not doing it. This rate, it's a part of their standard service. It's all one rate. They now have recycle bins at their disposal.
Okay, so Waste Management will do some outreach and talk to residential and business.
Well, just business, because right
account-
now residential customers already have this service. This is only going to be targeted for the commercial accounts. So we've already got them all lined. We're going to go out, hopefully starting tomorrow, and start talking to businesses and start offering recommendations on how they can start saving money in their trash bill.
Okay, maybe somebody could visit Mr. Tuttle. Thank you.
Definitely.
All righty, thank you very much. At this point, all right, so at this point, we're coming back to the public hearing, council members.
I'm good.
I just want to emphasize the educational piece here, and I know that you stated that everyone will get a visit, and I think that's my concern, making sure that everyone has that information. As Councilmember Baca just stated, she has 7 properties and she didn't get the information. The last thing we want is for anyone to feel that they were not included in the process, they were not informed, and so that's going to be important, at least for me, to make sure it does happen, that everyone has the information and that everyone gets a visit. And you know, like you stated, give them ideas on how they can make their bill go down. And that's the goal here, right? Incentivize so they can reduce their bill. Thank you.
Mayor?
Yes, Vice Mayor Ricardo Pacheco.
I just also wanted to add that on the staff report, there is a table here that shows the rates. And if Mr. Danwell, if you could tell me on this report here, it has the city, the companies, and the residential rates. So it sounds like we're at an average of, and I'm assuming this is a monthly rate, $21.58 for Baldwin Park. Duarte is $18.38. Arcadia is $21.85. I want to jump up a few cities. Monterey Park and Irwindale are at 25 and some change. Covina and Glendora are paying $27.54 and $27.05 for Covina. The average is $27.73. So with today's rate change, about how much will an average rate for a resident go up? Are we just looking at cost of living only? Or?
Yes, for residential rates, we're only looking at cost of living. That hasn't been calculated yet and will not take effect until July 1st.
Okay. Very well. Okay, then it shows for commercial, the average is $154.12. Waste management is at $168.56, so we're a little above the average. How much more will companies have to pay if?
That is, I honestly can't answer that, and that's because with the blended rates, companies have the opportunity to decrease their waste bin size, and so people.
Okay, so there's some options to decrease your bill based on
right.
each one's individual needs.
Yeah, people currently using a 3-yard bin may downsize to a 96-gallon container.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Just real quickly, I also want to point out that I know that Waste Management has done a great job of offering special services for the elderly, people with special needs and that kind of stuff. And we always, want to encourage, we want to take care of our seniors and people that are less capable. So that's also part of, when we take things into consideration, that's something that we do push for, making sure that our seniors are taken care of. So I want to just point that out. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, at this point, council members. All right, so at this point, let me just go ahead. All right, so at this point, where is the actual, the public, okay, so it is recommended that City Council hold the public hearing and consider all public testimony and protests regarding the proposed increases in solid waste fees, and to adopt resolution number 2014-031, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Baldwin Park, California, establishing fees for solid waste services. Okay? So at this point, is there any motion?
Motion for approval.
Motion approval. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second. Any objections? See none, so moved. So the item does pass. It's a 4-0. All right. So at this point, we're moving on to the next one. We don't have anything to report from the council communication. I'll move for adjournment.
Real quickly, Mayor, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
that's fine. That's fine.
I left some people out that also donated money to the street fair, so I want to make sure that I give them credit, and that's Trophy World, the Baldwin Park Police Association, Jumpers, Inc., and Assemblymember Roger Hernandez. And once again, as I get people to donate, I will make sure to thank you publicly. Thanks, Mayor.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Councilmember. All right, so at this point, I'm going to move for adjournment. That's my motion. Hello? Okay, second by Vice Mayor Ricardo Pacheco. Any objections? See none, so move. At this point, I'd like to open up the Housing Authority, and we only have a couple of items. Consent calendars, all move the motion. Second by Vice Mayor. Any objections? See none, so move. At this point, what's that? Oh, yeah, real quick, before I forget, I do have to open up the public communication that for the Housing Authority. So anyone wishing to speak in favor of public hearing? No, we only concurrent. We all open the concurrent. Okay, so at this point, I move for adjournment. Second. Any objections? See none, so move. Viva Baldwin Park. Good evening. Buenas noches.